Hello and welcome back to
Mind the Body of Relationship.
Hi, my name is Emerald Hill and I'm the host of this podcast, and joining me today is Laurie Ponsford-Hill, the clinical director of the Counseling House, and together we founded the Portsideartinstitute.
Yes. And today we're here to talk about the Emotionally Focused Eating Program.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. Hey, Ems, can you utterly believe that it's been 3 years since it is that we did our original blog?
No, I can't believe that, actually.
Shocking.
Yeah.
Absolutely shocking. And you know what's really important is that we had a fabulous year putting that together, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, and it has totally and completely influenced not only what it is that we do, but what it is that we inform others to do.
Absolutely, and it was so funny because we wrote that blog every single day, and it was a struggle at times, like even like 8 months in, 6 months in, what have you. It was still like, you know, really focusing on getting that done every day. And then as soon as we did it, we both noted that like a week later, it was like, yeah, I'm totally, like, I didn't even think about writing a blog today.
No,
not
whatever.
But I would say that all of that information that we researched and did, a lot of it stuck with me for the 3 years that, you know, since it's been.
It's been highly influential.
Mm-hmm.
So now what we're doing is we're putting together something completely different, and yet based on the research and the work that we did initially. So now we are doing a truth or dare.
Yep.
Well, really, it's truth and dare together, right? Because we're going to be going through the blog and our learnings, right? And what it is that we found that has worked, what stuck with us, but also too what hasn't worked and didn't stick with us.
Right.
As well as we're going to put together a weekly dare for ourselves, for you. Anybody who wants to join, just let us know. We will include you in this because this is a big deal.
Absolutely.
Yes, your relationship with food, your relationship with yourself, really, really important. And so here we are on week 1, coincidentally, the biggest box office situation that's going on out there right now is Barbie. Yes, here's Emerald as Barbie here. And so this is really, you know, amazing because it's coincidental. It's really important about what you think about yourself, how you look, what you think about how you look, how you respond to yourself, you respond to life, right? What your mind is actually really saying, how it is that you're feeling, and what it is that you're doing.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And so right off the hop, here we are, we're introducing ourselves and we're introducing the blog, but also too, we're taking a look at the blog and the things that we wrote initially on week 1, you know, about the things that we were looking at back then and what it is that's worked and what it is that actually really hasn't. It's like, oh, that's really interesting that we wrote that or we said that or we were looking at things that way. And so here we are, week 1, to talk about that. So right off the hop, we've got to say, we really did have a very narrow view about carbs.
Absolutely. And I think that it's an interesting conversation because in the Emotionally Focused Eating blog that I do on the side, I've talked about it quite a bit where I think that even though the keto diet was such a narrow view, and I don't believe now that you need to cut out carbs to lose weight, I think that is possible because I'm now able to do it. I think that it was an important journey to happen because it really taught me that I'm capable of limiting what I need to, right? I had such a connection to carbs, and even through my time of learning how to incorporate them back into my diet, I suffered from episodes where I would just binge on them because that's what I was used to because there was that, you know, restriction and limitation even before the keto diet.
Yeah. And so what we did was we started looking at things a little bit differently because the transition actually really happened for Emerald to the Mediterranean diet.
Yeah, it was an interesting kind of thing that happened because for so long I thought, oh, I can only lose weight on the keto diet. And I lost a lot of weight on the keto diet. I lost about 100 pounds. And then what happened is that I gained like 60 pounds back, and then I lost another 30 pounds doing it again. But sticking to it to lose that extra 30 pounds and sticking to it to like really have that lifestyle felt almost impossible because I just kept slipping and going off the diet. I could maintain my weight loss, but I couldn't get to that extra point that I wanted to get to because I was just like, I didn't believe in it anymore. Like I didn't have that drive to be, just eating meat and fats and proteins like that. Instead, what I really wanted to do was freshen up my diet, and I gravitated towards the Mediterranean diet because I was craving things like rice and sometimes pasta and sometimes bread and things like that. And so when I started to allow myself to have those different things and actually say, you know what? Lots of people, bodybuilders, all kinds of athletes, they maintain their weight and they're able to do that through the seasons that they don't exercise as much, like training for the Olympics and stuff. So there has to be a way that I can do it. And it was actually recognizing the fact that I'm allowed to enjoy this stuff now because I can handle my own emotions. I don't have to go to these things when I'm feeling bad or when I've had an overwhelming day. I don't have to make a whole pot of rice like I used to do as a kid. Like when I got home from school and I had a horrible day, I would make a whole pot, like 2 packets of ramen noodles, and they were like 500 calories for each packet. You know what I mean? But I couldn't let myself do that back then. And I think that's why the keto diet was so important, was to be able to say, like, I can have self-control. I can have autonomy with what I need and what I believe I need in that moment. And so, like, being able to kind of, like, curb my thought process was such an interesting journey.
So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going through each and every entry of our blog. And we're going to be talking about the pluses, the minuses, the struggles, the things that have worked, that sort of thing over this period of time. And, of course, just, the emotional stuff that has happened to us and how it is that we've handled that. And so for today is week 1. And so what we're going to be doing is we're also going to be doing a dare, right? So here's the truth. The truth is some things worked, some things didn't. However, all, completely, when we look at the whole situation and what we learned over that period of time, our experiences, that sort of thing, highly influential. It was very successful. And so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be offering you the opportunity to walk with us through that journey, looking at our blog as well as where it is that we are today, and then offering you a dare, right? And so week 1, our dare, based upon our week 1 blog, was to start to keep a food journal. So really good just to be able to identify what it is that you are eating. Now, originally what we did was we solely and completely looked at carbs. Right? And so the aim was to be as low in carbohydrates as you could possibly be. And so that was our basis of how it is that we started the food journal. But now, and over time, what Emerald started to do was she started to actually really balance that, not only with carb numbers, but carbohydrate numbers. Isn't that right, Emerald?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the first step that I took in incorporating carbs back into my diet was recognizing that I actually don't need, I think that calories are a really great system to use, but you can also use what's called macronutrients. They're the 3 basic nutrients that your body needs: fat, protein, and carbs, right? So it's really easy. So if you kind of have the basis, which I like to go to, which is calories, and kind of match up what I need from there. They say that if you'd like to gain muscle, you need to have a gram of protein for each pound of muscle that you weigh. But that's kind of if you really want to go for it. So really just kind of taking what you want from that rule, because we still want to eat ice cream and stuff, right? You just want to say, okay, so I want to choose foods that have a high amount of protein, and I want to look at the nutrition packet. And I know that sugar is not something that I want to go to, right? A lot of the things like processed foods. That's what was so great about the Mediterranean diet, was that when you were focusing on carbohydrates, you were focusing on non-processed carbohydrates. So carbohydrates that actually have a lot of nutrition also jam-packed into them. So when I'm talking about bread, in my head, I'm actually not talking about white bread. I'm talking about like cranberry rye bread with pumpkin seeds and stuff. Like, it's the same amount of calories, but it has so much more nutrition in it. So when you think about incorporating more protein and, having those carbs in there, you're really thinking about, well, what carbs do I like that come from the earth? Because we all know that natural food is basically the best way to go, right? Mm-hmm. Like, it's what you're meant to eat, so to speak. So rice is really great because it's mostly fiber. There's no sugar in there. So you can't really go wrong with that because it's going to help your digestive system, and it's not going to spike your sugar levels, because the truth is that it's going to slowly digest because of the fiber and the protein. And I can't stress the protein enough. I think it's really good to have protein with every meal. Fiber and protein is what will keep you full.
Oh, okay. So still the basics, going around the outside of the grocery store, because that's where it is that your meat is, that's where it is that your good vegetables are, right? Your cheeses, that sort of thing. But the truth of the matter is that we're not so strict now to do with just looking at, for example, like rice, the carbohydrates involved. So, based upon that, we're going to be looking at a lot of information that we weren't really looking at with the original blog. Plus, on top of that, we're going to be talking more about the emotional components, because there is a lot of emotion that goes along with food. Your soul identifiers as to who it is that you are and what it is that you're eating and what it is that means to you is really, really important.
Right, absolutely. And I think that another note that I want to put on is something that we didn't really consider, and I think that we put it in the first part of the blog, was like kind of dismissing exercise.
But we did. Oh, yeah. It was all based on food consumption, which does work. I mean, it did work.
Yeah.
But the truth is that it does take a toll.
Yeah.
Right? And so the more you constrict, the more it's about constriction. But the honest truth is that the more you're feeling better about yourself, the more it's really important to be able to get out, do things, do that physical exercise, not to kill yourself by any means whatsoever, but really just to be able to do something physical. If you don't, use it, you're going to lose it. That's
right, absolutely. And that's something that we'll go more into, because that's something that I really dismissed growing up and considering about weight loss, because it was just something that was exercise until you die and then don't eat anything, basically in the early 2000s. And then later you do find out that, losing weight is 90% diet and then 10% exercise. But the truth is that what I found is when I changed my value system from just, being as small as I could be to being strong and actually have a sense of mobility and being able to carry that into old age and stuff, that's surpassing the time, when being the thinnest that you could possibly really even matters at that point, right?
Well, so true, right? And we didn't take into account, I think, talking about emotion, talking about stress. And there's a lot of stressors that are going on just, generally day to day, but also physically, right? And so a lot has happened over this 3 years, and we're going to be talking about all those different things that we've come across that have created stress, how to be able to manage that stress, because life is stressful, and how it is that you can balance all of these different components together, because it's very, very hard to balance. And so I think number one, just to really concentrate on our dare, and our dare is to have actually really your own book sitting here just like this, to start to write down in it your own diet every single day. And just like we did 3 years ago with the blog, not to change the diet from the beginning, just to start to pay attention to what it is that you're eating. just to write it down so that you're starting to look at it and you're paying attention to it. You don't have to worry about marking down the carbs, marking down, the calories. You don't have to actually really worry about that. What you need to start to do is just make it a part of your everyday. I ate this, I wrote it down. Generally speaking, it was this amount, this many, right? So that we can start to take a look at, well, what is that? What's going on for you every single day, right? And so also too, another component to that is really to start to think about, when is it that I'm eating? Yeah,
absolutely. It's interesting because I think that at a time in the blog we did incorporate fasting into our timeline, and it's like interesting when you think about the timings that you eat, because I think a lot of people go big stretches of time without eating and they don't recognize how hungry they get, and then they have a big session at the end of the day, which is something that I've done.
For sure. So just as a starting point, right, just get yourself a nice big book and just start to document, what is it that I'm eating every day, generally speaking, around what time and what's happening for me, right? So that we know and we can take a look at it and we can start to decipher the code. Yes, exactly. Yeah, well, nice to see you again, Emerald. It's been a while. Yes, exactly. Yeah, so really good. We're starting to put together, in essence, a new blog.
Yeah.
Right? Which is really to do with our learnings over this period of time, as well as Emerald has lots of recipes that you have been photoing yourself eating over this period of time, right? So really good to connect with those.
Yeah, so subscribe and then you'll have all kinds of shorts, so you'll see like little mini recipe videos.
For sure. Excellent. Well, Barbie girls, Barbie guys. Yes, enjoy.
Subscribe, give it a like. We'll see you later.
Bye for now.